2 airports, 1 rental car counter, and an hour's drive through a craggy mountain vista found me at an altitude of 7,000 feet, approaching the foothills at the southern tip of the Rocky Mountains. Santa Fe is a striking city, and I was excited about the group I was speaking to the next morning. But I'd spent most of my Sunday traveling, and I missed spending that time with my family. When I checked into my hotel room, I was feeling melancholy and more than a little lonely. When I opened my suitcase, I discovered a note tucked carefully into the corner. I recognized my daughter's handwriting immediately.
Hey, Pop. I wanted to wish you good luck on your presentation. Thanks for all you do. We miss you. Love ya, Erica. P.S. Love you again.
As you can imagine, that note made me feel great. My daughter's expression of appreciation and affection touched me deeply. William James, one of the 2 or 3 most important psychologists of our time, once said, "The deepest craving of human nature is to feel appreciated." When you recognize someone, you say to that person, "I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you do." Recognition helps bring out the best in us. It energizes us. It causes us to stretch and to strive to accomplish more. Bottom line, recognition can propel us to far greater productivity. But recognition is about something far more profound than increased productivity. When our efforts are recognized, we feel valued and our satisfaction surges. And as our satisfaction grows, our loyalty grows. And one person at a time, we build a strong and vital organization. But let's do a little reality check here. Can recognition really bring out the best in people? Can it really increase productivity? Can recognition contribute to job satisfaction and ultimately to retention and growth? The answer is yes. According to research conducted by the Gallup organization, there is a direct correlation between recognition and productivity. When employees are recognized for their efforts, when they feel appreciated, they do more work and they do better work. Recognition helps us feel good about ourselves and what we're doing. It increases the satisfaction we experience in our work and in our lives. And once again, research gives support to this idea. In their book, First Break All the Rules, authors Marcus Buckingham and Kurt Kaufman reveal research that ties employee retention directly to recognition. Now, to me, this study proves that we can reduce turnover and increase retention by the simple act of providing adequate recognition. So it's pretty clear. Recognition can be a powerful business tool. But there's something else you should think about. When you praise someone, when you tell them how much you appreciate them and what they do, they'll feel great and you'll feel great.
To him the other day, and I'm telling him, you know, this can't go on. Stan. Stan, look, this can't go on. You gotta find a way to get to work on time. I don't know. I'm stuck. I guess I'm just gonna have to let him go.
Kyle, you can't do that. His writing rocks. There's no one around here even in his league.
Well, I don't have a quarrel with that, but I can't deal with this tardiness thing.
Tell you what, transfer him to my group.
In what you just saw, Kyle and Amy are both managers of creative teams, but they seem to have very different ideas about what it means to be a manager. Certainly, part of a manager's job is to deal with problems, but the experience of outstanding managers all over the country tells us that if you focus your time and energy on what's right with people, productivity and personal satisfaction will increase among the people in your work group. In many ways, management genius is the ability to see what's right with people. Great managers seem to look past the flaws to focus on positive qualities. A number of years ago, the University of Nebraska conducted a study where they asked average people to stand on a street corner and record their observations of the people walking by. When evaluated, the observations of average people were 70% negative. Then the study was repeated, except for this time, instead of average people doing the observing, outstanding managers were placed on the street corners. When the observations of great managers were evaluated, they turned out to be 70% positive. Management genius is the ability to see what's right with people.
Recognize a guy who always goes above and beyond. Come in here any Saturday and you'll find Lee cranking away. Go, Lee. Lee, I'm pleased to announce that you've been promoted to Senior Account Supervisor.
Yeah. You know how they've been all over us about setting new business appointments? Right. Top priority, they said. Well, I've led the pack for the last 6 months. That suck-up hasn't even picked up the phone, but he gets promoted over me. No, I'm not kidding.
I'm shocked. This fell out of my chair. I couldn't believe it. I mean, this is ridiculous.
In the department we've just been watching, which of the following activities do you think is most likely to increase? Even though setting new business appointments was purported to be the top priority, the person who got promoted was rewarded for being in the office on Saturday, not for setting new business appointments. One of the absolute facts of management is that you always get more of what you recognize. So we'd expect to see more people in the office on Saturday and very little in the way of setting new business appointments. One other thing, when the wrong things are recognized, people in the organization are confused and demoralized. Recognizing the wrong things can be far more devastating than providing no recognition at all. So before you provide recognition or reward for any behavior or activity, ask yourself, is this the behavior or activity I really want to see more of? A few more years ago than I care to admit, I was a gangly, awkward, and painfully shy teenager struggling to get through high school in a small farming community in Indiana. In gym class one day, we were introduced to a game called Bombardment. I looked across the gym at guys who all seemed to be about a foot taller and 100 pounds heavier than me. They were bouncing the balls, glaring with blood in their eyes, just waiting to pulverize me. The whistle blew, balls started whizzing by, and I started dodging. As the game progressed, I watched teammate after teammate succumb to this ferocious barrage until finally I was the last man standing. Balls kept screaming past my head, and I kept darting out of harm's way. Inevitably, I was hit and the game was over. As I headed for the locker room, the PE teacher, Coach Allen, paid me a compliment. "You're quick," he said. As I left the locker room, I heard Coach Allen yell across the gym, "Hey, Speedy, the football team lifts weights before school. Why don't you join us?" Well, I'd never considered lifting weights or even thought about playing football. But apparently, the coach saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And because of his encouragement, I started lifting weights with the football team. A few months later, I was a varsity starter. Coach Allen's recognition energized me. It inspired me to stretch and to grow beyond my wildest dreams. Much of the success I've enjoyed in my life, on and off the football field, I can trace back to Tom Allen's recognition of an awkward, gangly teenager struggling to stay alive in a game of bombardment. As a manager, please always remember, recognition is one of the most powerful forces on the planet. It can bring out the best in all of us. Now, let's review the key concepts from segment number 2, the foundation of recognition. When you focus your time and energy on what's right with people, productivity and personal satisfaction soar. Management genius is the ability to see what's right. Abandon the find out what's wrong and fix it mentality. You always get more of what you recognize, so be thoughtful about what you recognize. Recognition causes people to stretch and grow.